Hey everybody, it's Dune. I have a tutorial for everybody on getting the loot outline and interact option showing up on the AI's mesh after killing them. So we did see the flash. Get that guy to. So what's happening here is, oh, we actually got it. So I'm actually standing in their collision sphere, but I'm gonna walk you guys through a bunch of this, or actually everything. But there's gonna be a lot of extra content just to make it work, so I can show you that it's working. um, so I'm gonna start with we're gonna go to the player character. We're gonna create a function that will destroy our enemy with just a click. It's super helpful. So we're going to create a function. We're going to call this death ray. And then on our keyboard inputs found with, if you go to the main, do there, you have a thing that looks like keyboard. Go in here. This is the same option. Um, doesn't really matter. Both keyboard and controller heads to player inputs. And I'm going down to quick slot 1. And I'm going to drag this out a little bit. And I'm going to put a sequence in here. That. Connect that there. And then, so quick slot 1 is the R key. So we're just going to use the R key for this. So bam, death ray. There we go. And then in that death ray, we're going to call a function we already have in the player character called is facing enemy. We just go is facing enemy, and then it gives you two of these. One's the interface, which is this one. It says target is I character, and the one underneath it is player character. So it just calls it. But we want this to actually return. This actually is. We're going to modify this quite a bit. Make it work. It's a little buggy right now, I think, and we're going to make it a lot better. But we actually have to pull up that interface. So on interfaces, we're going to pull up the character is facing enemy, and we're going to have it also return the enemy to shoot them. So now this returns this. We are going to get rid of one of these and disconnect this guy from here. Going to get a multi-sphere trace by channel. So this here is bugged. If you want to keep it, so you want to make array. Oh, and I also have a plugin called Blueprint Assist. That's why this just got formatted. So even though it says ignore self, it's not ignoring self. It's ignoring self in this is the follow camera. And if you did a debug, it would show you the trace hitting the player sometimes. So we don't want that to happen. And then, but we're going to do the multi-sphere. So we're just going to move all these down here. Control drag. And we got to change that to damage trace hit, which is the FCS way of doing a line trace. then we're going to do for each with break. This there, this to there, and get rid of this. Just pop it up here if anybody wants it. So one of the things we want to do with our hit actor, all right, we need a branch that's gotten from B and click. And we're going to connect that to there and connect that to there. That's Q on the keyboard if you have the assist thing. Also, this is facing enemy doesn't check faction. We're going to do that. So we're going to do get faction, which is our player's faction, which defaults to purple, but if you had multiplayer, you'd want different. And then on our actor, we're going to do pass faction type. And I turned it into a mess, but I hit Q and it gets all fixed. We're going to do equal enum. So that's going to check to see that they're enemies. They're not the same faction. And if that's the case, we are going to take this and we're going to promote it to a local variable. We're going to change its name, press F2, and call this enemy target. And we already got the set here. Gonna press Q, that'll connect it to the true. And then lastly, we're gonna drag this over a little easier for a second to connect this to the break. And I'll format again. So that will set. And then on completed, we're return node. Get our enemy target. We're also going to do an is valid, the non-macro version. We're going to connect that to the true. All right, so that's going to be our is facing enemy, and then we're going to use that information in the death ray. So first of all, we want to put that on the branch. That will automatically connect if you don't need the blueprint says for that. You just drag from the true and pass B and click the branch and it'll connect in. Okay, so we are going to then, with the enemy target, we're going to skip a little bit on how to do a weapon. We're going to call the taking damage component directly. A little cheaty, but this is for testing. You shouldn't be using this in your production, in your final build. So we want that taking damage. And then we're going to call event point damage. And we're going to connect that in. And then we're going to get our player's location. And there, and there. And lastly, we'll call, do a reference to self there. I don't know what all we need on that for sure, but that works. Okay. So let's give that a little test. Music on this. We're going to get very annoyed with that. So we're going to do a search here. Music. Music. Zero. That could be done in settings and all that, but I'm just going to make it 0 so it's not there. All right, so this, and then you can just click anywhere. Got it. Accept. We just need this quest to, so we can get the gate to open, and these potions will not hurt to have. Get the gate open. Oh yes. And our spell's not working. What did I do wrong? I don't know. But also, the arena has got a slight bug to start with. It's spawner. Int. And we want to, right now it's only doing option 1, which is the mage. It literally does it every single time. You want to connect that to that. And then now the arena will spawn everything it can spawn with all these different options. And then I have this open. Map details. Open up one of these. We're going to go to DT enemy humanoid. I'll pull that up. We're not going to use that just yet. Just get it up on the bar. Okay, so what did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't do any damage. That's what I did. 9s there. It's like certainly not points of damage. So as you can see, no fire mage. And boom, he's dead. God, hate these mages. Got that guy. This guy can kill you in like one shot. He's dead. Kind of wanted to show what couple problems here. One of these guys had loot, but you can't really see it all that well. At their capsule is where you can interact. We need to add a couple things. First one's optional. I'm gonna go to the death function. If it's here, it is. I'm gonna add a sequence in here. That's with S and left click. The component get actor branch connect. No, actually this one. I was trying to connect that automatically. Then we want to do set lifespan. So if the actor has no loot, I want it just to disappear. So just set it to like 2 seconds. And the actor will just go poof as soon as he dies, pretty much. Other thing we need to do while we're in here is we need to set, so what happens when they die? The mesh of the AI is set to ignore pawns, such as the player. Well, we're going to turn that to, what I didn't do in my prep, but I did do in my actual game. Pull this up. I'm just going to copy this so my auto assist thing will really mess this up. So what I want to do is I want to call select that. So you can see that would have formatted. Connect this to there. Oops. We'll change that to a plus minus. All right, if the actor's looted, we want it to stay ignore. But we want it otherwise, if it's not looted, to be overlap. I'll delete that and connect that to there. It just prevents some needless effort there. Okay. Okay, so we can kill the enemy with a click of a button. And now if the enemy dies and it has no loot, whoops, I did not mean to click you. Just trying to get my fingers on the right keys. See if I can, should see these guys disappear. They, assuming I connected this thing, I thought I did set this, right? Oh, I set it to the wrong. So we'll only keep the ones around if they have loot. Now, right now, actually, loot's busted. Nothing spawns loot. We're going to fix that. So everything should just poof because none of them have loot. Loot component. We're going to do a few things here. Oh, it's the retrieve loot info, which would be on the AI. Okay, this is busted. This code here is just downright busted. I don't know what Beard was thinking here. That's me. Delete it, but you're welcome to keep it. Need click this, open this. We need the enemy data. And off of that, break. Use this for pieces of loot. This for data. This for data table. This for rarity. AI name is the loot name. So it says loot, Joe or whatever, or in this case, the enemy. That will fix loot dropping if it's set in the basic data table, which we were starting to get here. So this is the enemy data, loot data. And then loot general is but it says use data table. So that check mark was not being passed right here. So it was never true. And therefore it was looking for set data or set loot. And none of them had it because they were all random, random basics. So this was really broken. I don't know when that got broken, but latest updates. We're gonna add into the loot component a chance of 100. We're gonna make it so the AI drops something 100% of the time. To do that, this will require a little bit of change and a fair amount of compiling. But we want to open up this and we want to make it so a chance. So you can set a chance per item, and you can set a chance per. Right now, it's based on enemy, and you would have to edit every one of these enemies. Be like, oh, I want to give this guy 100%, and this guy 100%, and this guy 100%. We're gonna do it based on per row. So if I want coins to be 100% chance, then that's going to be option. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit this item setup. We're going to add a variable. We're going to create a float. And we're going to call it chance. This going to break it. Well, potentially break some things. But I hit play here. It's possible some will say So a bunch of things are going to have to save and recompile here. Preparing for this, it's at the inventory component, but as soon as you click it, hit compiled, it works. So launch this time. And all right, so giving us a chance here. We want to go to our loot table here, and for coins, which is this first one, we're going to give it a 100% chance of dropping coins. Or a chance now, 100%, or a chance there. We're going to add chance to the same random number there. There are these. It'll work way or this new way. So now, of course, the loot for that goes. Capsules way over there. Get loot for each of these guys. Why I'm only getting poison mages right now, I don't know. Or only mages. Alright, so one's without loot disappearing. Any loot. But I want to make it a little more reliable. This actually is not horrible. Maybe that's good enough for you. It's actually pretty good. But I'm going to walk you through. You want to control where the interact option is. That's pretty good. So by making the actor interact with the pawn, that's why we're able to kick it around. I don't really know how to do what we want without having that. All right, so what we need to do is we're going to edit the actor. This would be something you could add for every object. So you can have you can designate where the tag shows up on the. We're gonna choose the spline 3. We're gonna add a socket. That's for the UE4 skeleton. And for the UE5 skeleton. I want this spline 3 as well. Add socket. Call this interact with a capital I. I feel like I should show you one more thing. We're going to do the chest. Container chest. Blueprint. The item mesh. that up. That static mesh. We're going to add a socket here. Call it interact as well. And we're going to position this near the top of this. And near the front. So this is a nice, great way, like you could absolutely control where interact options are on a mesh. You can set this for the bags, for anything, swords, laying on the ground, anything you want. You'll just have to do it for every mesh. I mean, there'll be defaults to work without it. So you can see that, the enemy AI had one as well. And we're going to go to the outline component, starting up at begin play. It's up. Disconnect direct links to those. So when I hit this, it doesn't go all squirrely. And then we're just going to do create event. And we're going to connect that to its, do a call. Yep. Okay. And we're going to add a sequence to the front of this. And 3 pins to that. Let's actually add ourselves a little more space here. And this one's actually going to go there. And add 2 more. So say cast to character. Put that here. But what we want to do is, the reason we need the characters, we need to get the mesh, which is where the socket's located. Get socket location. In this case, we want the interact. And this is not 0, meaning it has it. Then we are going to create 2 more. We're going to do find want to component overlap. Okay, and then we're going to do create event again, but this time we're going to generate it. Create a matching event. Mesh clip. Before we, whoops. I don't know why it didn't automatically populate that. Create event. Create a matching event. Mesh on and overlap. Double check that got made. I don't know why that didn't connect either. Okay, so on mesh and overlap, we have these two to go to plug in. We need to check a couple things. Get owner. We're going to make sure the owner's not dead. Or we only want these to work if the owner is dead. Otherwise, we want to use the normal overlap method. I'm going to actually make this a macro because we're going to use it 4 times. So let's convert this to macro. We're going to be is owner dead. Give it a kind of reddish color. And we're going to give exec, actually, input and 2 outputs. Use underscore for the first one because I don't really care what its name is. And then I like to use yes and no instead of true and false. But you can use true and false, it's the same. You just connect these up. Dead. Yes. We need to then call event overlap and event over end overlap. So on show actor tag, we need to actually plug in the socket location. So otherwise it won't be helpful for us. So we need to do our get owner. And we need to cast a character again. You want to cast always to the basest of meshes. You don't want to cast, say, to your AI or whatever if you don't have to. It's easier mesh and memory and all that kind of stuff, and performance. And get socket location. So give a copy of the other one. Ooh. Oh, we need to, one other thing. We need to do this. Set location. Plug that there. So if it's 0, we need to set it the old way. If it's false, first plugin also cast failed. Get it the old way. It's When it's false here, it means we actually have a good value. So we want to plug in to there. Skip this other stuff. Getting the location. Okay. Now let's give that a test. Melee are a little easy to sack. All right, so loot. I don't think we actually have it on the female character. We have it on the male Manny, but not the female Manny. The Quinn used the same skeleton, but it says not. Just using the edit you. Or skeleton. Spine 3. We might actually want that one higher. Spine 5. Socket. Actually, there already is an interact. It's just, you know, maybe it's doing it right then. We just want it in a different place. Delete that. I'm going to take this. I'd actually rather have it off the right bone, but put that up. I should fix it for the women. Double check here. Interact. Okay, same place. And then for the. See, this is what I thought. Maybe it wasn't. Keeps bringing up the same. Quinn in this case. Showing up in the right place. Seemingly all good. Can adjust the location to your heart's content. Some people like it over their head. Some people like it on the body. Particular on the body, but suppose for dialogue you might want a different socket, and you can do that. So like it's over their head or something. There we go. Then the last thing I want to show is a chest. So let's come down here, drag in a chest. Since we made that, at some point here, chest. Yep. Facing us. In not a good place. All right, let's double check we set our interact here properly. Details. Item. We set the interact. So here, this is looking for the character, but here we're using a different mesh. So we need to use that over here. So is valid. We need to get that, and then if it is false, we'll default to the old way. If it's true, we're going to come down here. And this needs to be prettied up. I'll leave that to you to make that pretty if you want. And there we go. Chest loot items there. We can go back to that. Say we want that interact. That's the way that goes. Set it anywhere you want. And that's going to be it for this video. Hope you like it. And